Okay, so it's the holiday season. Yeah, this microphone slips. So it's a holiday season, and let's see, so a couple years ago, when I was a little bit younger, I would pile into the car with my mom and my dad, and we would road trip from Denver to a big family reunion in Cincinnati, Ohio, where it would be with my whole extended family at my dad's brother's house, and we would do all of the usual Christmas tradition-y things, including go to Christmas Eve church services, which was always very exciting. My uncle's family was Christian, but had sort of over the years not really found like a church that they were really in love with. And so, going back there year after year, I found that we would frequently kind of like switch churches. Like, by my 6th grade year, I was very used to like, oh, where are we going this year for the Christmas Eve church? Oh, you weren't into that, old preacher guy? Yeah, me neither. Good choice. Moving on. So this year, I put on my Christmas clothes and I bopped down into the guest bedroom to see my parents are still in their pajamas, where my mom informs me that they will not be attending Christmas Eve services this year, and I, their only son, would be representative and tribute of our family, and I, would be the scapegoat that went and would represent our branch. So I was like, okay, this is getting off to kind of a weird start. So we paddled in the car, and I'm talking with my cousins, and I start getting really nervous because they keep talking about this church, and my cousins are saying, oh, it's more than a church, it's an experience. And I hear the adults in the front seat saying things like, well, like, it won't be a repeat of what happened a year ago. No, that poor girl lost her life falling from the trapeze of the avant-garde rendering of the nativity, but they've fixed everything in the harness system, so it'll be flawless this year, I'm sure. And I'm just like, God, what kind of place are we going to? And we show up to this enormous building of brick and glass with the huge word Crossroads emblazoned above the door, and I'm thinking, oh my God, like, is my life about to veer off in some crazy ass direction because of this church? And like, I was a very nervous child, so naturally I just start catastrophizing the entire situation. And like, I had just finished the first half of 6th grade, and everything is flashing back to my English lit professor, who was a Vietnam War vet, who decided that 6th graders, teaching English to 6th graders was a lost cause, so he just scared the crap out of us. Every class period, he would come up behind us and just scream at the top of his lungs out of nowhere, so much that by the end of the year, we stopped jumping at it. It's like he had conditioned it out of us. He was terrifying. All we read were dystopian future sci-fi anthologies, and we would start every class with some scary current event about, this was when this like French woman was getting her face transplanted, and he'd be like, yeah, guys, check this out. Like, imagine if you woke up with a dead guy's face on, like, ooh, or, hey, guys, ever heard of the Manson family? And you're just like, oh, I don't like this. So all of these weird cults that I had read about in English this year, I was applying that knowledge to Christmas Eve services, where they were serving coffee with, like, the church logo on it, and I'm like, I'm not going to drink that. I don't know what's going on here. So we go upwards to the mezzanine, and this service is just very elaborate and theatrical, and they have 3 different jumbotrons that are like karaokeing the Christmas carols, but they've like revamped them to like some weird pop that I can't follow. I'm trying to sing along, but I'm like, I literally don't know what this song is anymore. And they have this robed choir coming in and singing these huge songs in this elaborate nativity set, and the preacher is really passionate about whatever he's saying, but I can't hear over how loud my heart is beating, thinking like, God, please just let this be over. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, Catholic school has taught me to fear every other kind of religious representation of Christianity that's out there. Lord, help me get through this. you know, parents, what did you do? Is this revenge for when I was peeing outside because I was afraid of the bathroom, or for not laughing at Dad's cornbread jokes? And then, finally, the preacher is like overtaken by this enormous energy. The choir hits this huge high note, lights are flashing, and he reaches and unsheathes a sword that had been tucked into one of the like fake magi, and walks over to the manger where there's a loaf of bread that he's been comparing to baby Jesus for the whole service, and he utters this battle cry, "Ah!" and stabs the loaf of bread, and all the lights go out. And I am just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then there's this loud hissing, and my immediate thought is, dear God, they're gassing us. This is it. This is Jonestown Part 2. I'm not coming out of here alive. Everything's fine. And I should have had more faith in my parents not sending me off to some death trap, or, you know, in my parents, or, you know, the rest of my family for not bringing me to some death trap. So I guess that taught me to stop being an ignorant little ass and start appreciating and loving my family a little more, trusting them a little bit more. Thank you.